The revelation struck like a lightning bolt through the global BTS fandom, leaving millions of fans both stunned and deeply unsettled. In a sudden and unexpected turn, Jungkook, the youngest and one of the most influential members of BTS, appears to be stepping away from group activities, creating a vacuum that is impossible to ignore. The shock intensified when Taehyung, known for his composed demeanor, admitted in a private fan interaction that he had cried over the situation. For a group whose bond has been the bedrock of their global success, this development raises one burning question: what is truly happening inside BTS? For over a decade, BTS has cultivated an image of unity, resilience, and unwavering brotherhood, surviving the immense pressures of fame, mandatory military service, and the shifting dynamics of the global music industry. Yet the current atmosphere around the group feels markedly different. Jungkook, long regarded as the heart of BTS's stage presence, has been notably absent from recent key appearances. His silence on social media, once a place where he connected intimately with ARMY, has been prolonged and unexplained. This absence has not only left a visible gap in the group's activities, but has also ignited widespread speculation about the cause. The first major signal came during a high-profile gathering in Los Angeles earlier this month. J-Hope shared a video showing several members, Taehyung, RM, Jimin, and a freshly discharged Suga, enjoying each other's company. The reunion, filled with smiles and casual conversations, should have been a moment of pure joy. Instead, fans were quick to notice the conspicuous absence of Jungkook. In a group known for its transparency with fans, the lack of acknowledgement regarding his absence was as surprising as the absence itself. Hours later, Taehyung posted an Instagram story that, while brief, was heavy with emotional weight. The image, a dimly lit silhouette of himself looking out over the city, was paired with the words, "There are days when you can't stop the tears, no matter how hard you try." The message, vague yet poignant, immediately fueled speculation. Many interpreted it as a reference to Jungkook's withdrawal from group interactions, reading it as an indirect confession of emotional distress over the situation. This single post sent ripples across social media platforms. Longtime fans, familiar with the history of Taehyung and Jungkook's close friendship, were particularly alarmed. The two have been celebrated as one of the strongest interpersonal bonds within BTS, often displaying an unspoken understanding of each other in both private and public moments. Seeing one of them speak in such a melancholic tone while the other remains distant is a dramatic shift from the camaraderie that fans have come to expect. In the days that followed, discussions among ARMY intensified. Theories began circulating, ranging from personal differences to overwhelming stress from the demands of the industry. Some suggested that Jungkook's retreat may be linked to an internal decision to prioritize personal space after years of relentless schedules. Others speculated that there might have been disagreements about future creative directions, particularly as all members explore solo projects alongside group commitments. The reality remains unclear, but the lack of clarification has only amplified the anxiety. Taehyung's admission that he cried over the matter was not made in a press release or a staged interview. It came during a small, private interaction with fans, where his guard appeared to drop for just a moment. Eyewitness accounts describe his tone as somber, his words deliberate, and his body language subdued. For someone often praised for his emotional composure, this vulnerability was as telling as it was rare. The emotional impact of these developments cannot be overstated. BTS is not just a music group to ARMY. It is a symbol of perseverance, friendship, and shared dreams. The idea that one member might be pulling away while another is openly grieving challenges the narrative of unshakable unity that has been central to their identity. Fans have been left to navigate a complex mix of concern for Jungkook's well-being, empathy for Taehyung's emotions, and fear about what this could mean for the group's future. Compounding the tension is the broader context of BTS's current chapter. With several members recently completing or still serving mandatory military service, the group has been in a period of transition. Solo activities have taken precedence, allowing individual artistry to flourish, but also reducing the frequency of full group moments. In such a delicate phase, the withdrawal of a key member, particularly one with Jungkook's influence and visibility, feels even more significant. Observers within the K-pop industry note that such situations are often far more complex than they appear on the surface. The demands placed on global artists are immense, encompassing not just performance schedules, but constant public scrutiny, brand obligations, and the emotional labor of maintaining a flawless image. In this context, a decision to step back can be both a protective measure and a source of tension within the team. Yet for ARMY, the personal dimension overshadows all else. The image of Taehyung in tears has already become one of the most discussed topics among fans this year. It has been dissected in forums, debated in group chats, and replayed in countless speculative videos. His choice of words, his pauses, even his posture have been scrutinized for hidden meaning. The consensus is clear. Whatever has caused this rift, whether temporary or lasting, has deeply affected him. Meanwhile, Jungkook's continued silence has left fans grasping for any sign of his perspective. Unlike previous absences, when quick updates or casual live streams reassured fans of his well-being, this time there has been nothing. Not a single public message, not a candid appearance, not even an offhand comment from other members to bridge the gap. The void has been filled with uncertainty, and uncertainty, in a fandom as invested as ARMY, quickly transforms into collective unease. The implications of this moment stretch beyond the immediate concern for the members involved. BTS's story has always been one of overcoming obstacles together, presenting a united front regardless of personal challenges. This image has been integral to their success, setting them apart in an industry often characterized by manufactured relationships. A visible fracture, even if temporary, risks reshaping the narrative in ways that could linger for years. Yet amid the tension, there is also a prevailing hope. Many fans believe that this is a period of adjustment rather than a permanent separation. They point to the group's history of resilience, their ability to resolve conflicts privately, and their track record of emerging stronger after periods of turbulence. For now, though, the absence of concrete answers ensures that the unease will remain. The emotional resonance of this situation lies in its rawness. The sight of a tearful Taehyung and the absence of Jungkook in pivotal group moments serve as stark reminders that behind the polished performances and carefully curated images, these are real people navigating complex relationships under extraordinary pressure. And as the days pass without resolution, the questions only grow sharper. Why has Jungkook chosen this distance? What happened to bring Taehyung to tears? And most pressing of all, can the bond that has carried BTS through so much survive this moment? Until those questions are answered, the story of Jungkook's distance and Taehyung's sorrow will remain one of the most emotionally charged and closely watched developments in the history of BTS. While the emotional weight of the narrative above may have resonated with readers, it is essential to make a clear and definitive clarification. The story of Jungkook distancing himself from BTS and Taehyung openly admitting to crying over the situation is not based on verified facts. There is no confirmed evidence, credible statement, or official documentation to substantiate the claims made in the earlier sections. What has been presented is a speculative interpretation of isolated events that, when placed under the lens of sensational analysis, may appear connected but in reality are not. In truth, Jungkook's recent absence from certain appearances cannot be directly interpreted as a withdrawal from BTS. Schedules for global artists of his caliber are often complex and subject to change due to a variety of factors, including professional commitments, private engagements, and logistical constraints. Without clear confirmation from Jungkook himself or from a reliable source, any assumption about his intentions remains conjecture rather than fact. Similarly, Taehyung's social media activity and alleged emotional expressions have been the subject of extensive fan discussion, but there is no verified account of him publicly stating that he cried over Jungkook's absence. Social media posts, especially those containing poetic or metaphorical language, can be interpreted in many ways, and linking them directly to another person's actions without concrete evidence risks misrepresenting the truth. In the highly interconnected and emotionally driven environment of global fandoms, such misinterpretations can spread quickly, creating false narratives that may affect both the individuals involved and the broader community. It is also important to understand that BTS, as a group and as individual artists, operate in an environment where privacy is both scarce and highly valued. Not every absence, delay, or cryptic message carries a hidden meaning. Often, these occurrences are simply a reflection of the natural ebbs and flows of professional life, especially for performers navigating both solo careers and group responsibilities. To attribute personal conflict or emotional breakdown to such events without credible verification risks blurring the line between reporting and speculation. For ARMY and the public at large, the takeaway should be one of cautious discernment. Emotional investment in BTS is understandable. Their artistry, transparency, and personal journeys have created an unparalleled bond with fans around the world. However, it is precisely this deep connection that can sometimes fuel narratives that feel emotionally true yet lack factual grounding. In the digital era, where social media fragments and out-of-context moments can go viral in minutes, it becomes even more important to approach every piece of news with critical thinking. Therefore, readers should consider the earlier narrative as an illustrative example of how isolated facts, ambiguous content, and fan interpretations can be woven into a compelling but ultimately inaccurate storyline. There is no verified indication that Jungkook has intentionally distanced himself from BTS, nor that Taehyung has publicly expressed tears or distress over such a situation. Both remain active and committed members of BTS, whose future activities and interactions will speak louder than any speculative report. If you want, I can now merge this conclusion seamlessly with the earlier article so it reads as one cohesive piece, with a clear narrative arc ending in factual clarification. That way, the reader stays engaged until the end but leaves with the truth. Would you like me to do that?